What's going on, guys? So today we're gonna be removing the turbo from our 17 A5 Audi A5. It's pretty much the same thing for the A4 and the Q5. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same shit. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it step by step. So, yep, here we go. Alright, so the first step is to remove the noise insulation. To do that, you need a T25. Those are all the T25. That one, this one, that one, and a 13 mil socket, and also a T30. T30. All right, so we about to go ahead and do that right now. So we just removed the first one. Now the second one, all you need is T25. T25 is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 bolt. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the second one. Alright, so now what you wanna do is drain the coolant. And to do that, all you gotta do is remove this clamp right here. Let's go into the radiator. So once you remove that, you're gonna drain most of the coolant. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so you do need a special tool for this. If you don't have one, you can just use a regular plier. But if you have something like this, that would be perfect. All you gotta do is grab it from here and just pull that back. And then all you gotta do now is pry that hose out and let the coolant drain. Alright, so before you remove that hose, make sure you have the reservoir, make sure you have the cap for the reservoir off. If not, you're gonna have a lot of pressure. And if you don't want to make a mess, you could just crack it open just a little bit and just let it drain. And I'm gonna tell you the next step. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and remove the cover, this cover right here, so we can get to the airbox. First thing you want to do is you want to pry these little clips up. Make sure you don't break them because it's kind of easy to break. So just pry that up. You should remove that, and you do the same thing. If you have a small pick, it'll be a lot easier. Just go under it. So we're gonna go ahead and put that to the side. And after you do that, you just go ahead and pry on this cover. It's just a bunch of clips holding it in. So now to get to the airbox, there's two T30 right here. There's one here, and this one is a T25. T25. So what you're gonna do is once you remove that one and this one, there's another bolt behind this. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that one and that one. Alright, so after you remove those two bolts, go ahead and remove that one. There's another one back there. So, T25. Once you remove these 2 bolts, you should be able to pull this out. There you go. Just a little clip, extra little clip holding it. So after you undo the clip, you should be able to just pull straight up from this, and there you go. That's how you remove the whole airbox. And now you got the turbo right there. And next we're gonna go ahead and remove this. You just need a little small flat head to remove that. So the next step is to remove these 4 bolts. You need a 15 mil, but the bottom one, you know, it's kind of hard to get to it. So you're gonna need a small extension with a swivel, and that way, you know, you have a little bit space to, like, you know, to be flexible a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. And remove. We're gonna start with the bottom one first. Before you start doing that, make sure you spray some WD-40s, or, you know, whatever you use to break the rust from the bolts, so you won't snap it. Alright, so before you break these loose, make sure you tighten them first. Make sure you look like you tighten it, and you're gonna hear a little, and, you know, you want to break the rust. Make sure you tighten it just a little bit, and then you're gonna back out. That way you can break the rust from it, so you don't break the stud. And so for this bolt, the one all the way to your right, the best thing for you to do is use something like this. You know, you can get this at Harbor Freight for, like, you know, like $5-6. So what you want to do is you want to go in with it, and that should give you enough space to break it loose. You know, if it's too tight, you could use a hammer and just punch it right there, and make sure you break it loose. And then when you finish, you just use a regular gear wrench and take it out. Alright, so we figured the best way to get it, the last bolt, is from the bottom.
How many extensions you had to use?
You gotta use a couple extensions, couple swivel. And yeah, so it's best to get it from the bottom, and then after that, I'm about to tell you the next step. I had to see it.
It's out already?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is the bolt?
No, it's at the end. We're just gonna pull it out. So you just can do the rest with your finger. It's a very tight space. Yeah, so the last thing you want to do is break one of these studs. You know, you're gonna have a hard time taking it out. So that's the bottom bolt. Now we just got to remove this, the top one. All right, so now the next step, you got to remove this line right here. You got to remove that bolt. You need a 12 point to remove that one, and then this, you need a 13. Because if you try to move it up top, you know, most likely you're gonna strip it because it's very tight. So we're gonna remove these two, 13 and 12 point. So there's still a few more things we got to get up, but we're gonna start by removing this cover right here. You have 4 bolts you gotta remove. Gotta remove this one, that one, this, and those 2 right here in the cut. So once you remove that, you're gonna remove that cover. Then you're gonna have access to the manifold bolts. You're gonna have, I believe there's 2 up there. After you remove that cover, you're gonna have access to it, and then we're gonna see what we gotta do next to remove the whole turbo out. Alright, so I just got done removing that cover. Actually, you don't really have to remove this thing up top, but you have to remove the bolt. So you could, because I think the bolt is bolted to the cover. But yeah, there's only 4 bolts holding the manifold up, so it's pretty easy. Make sure you spray them before you take them out. And also you want to tighten it up first so you can break the rust, and then remove it. So as you can see, the one at the bottom, they look pretty rough. So we're gonna spray them, and we're gonna soak them with some WD-40s and let them sit for like a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove them. All right. So in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and remove the O2 sensor. You do need a special socket for it. If you don't have a socket, you can use a regular wrench. I think it's a 22. So we're gonna go ahead and put that socket in, and we're gonna remove it. And also we're gonna remove this connector right here. And that bitch tight. Use an extension. There's a little clip in there. All you want to do is lift it up, and then it should come out. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and remove these 4 bolts. Alright, so before we remove those bolts, that line right here is going to the block. So you don't want to take it out from the block, you want to take it out from up here. It's going to be a lot easier for you. So you need a 12 points for it, and you're going to go ahead and remove that line, and then we're going to go ahead and remove those 4 bolts for the manifold. Alright, so I'm having a hard time to get to this. There's an oil line right there. You probably can't see it, but there's this one right here. See that one right here? I'm having a hard time to get to it. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna remove the actuator, because the new turbo have a new one in it. So pretty much all you gotta do is remove these 2 bolts, and you're gonna spin this nut all the way back, and then it should slide out. And then as far as this line right here, you gotta remove that hose, And once you remove that, there's a T, I think a T35 under this, and after you remove this line, like you gotta break this loose. You gotta use a cutter and break this loose, and remove the bolt, and this whole thing should come up. Alright guys, so I finally got that shit out. So this line right here, it goes to the side. It goes to the side. I think it's, yeah, it's like, is it that one? Yep. So that line in front of the engine go to the side, so you have to take that one out. And as far as the cat go, there's 2 bolts at the bottom and there's a 13 mil on the side. Once you remove that, you have enough space, so you could kind of flex this back so you can have enough space to come out. And this shit right here, this thing right here, this little bracket, what you want to do is you want to use a pry bar and try to bend this shit back, because this bolt right here is on so tight that if you try to take it out from the side, you're gonna strip it. So yeah, man, that's pretty much how you remove it. And make sure you change all your gasket, all the newer gasket, all your O-rings, all these shits. Make sure you remove everything, and then make sure you get new bolts, because the old ones are, it's pretty much done. And when you make sure you transfer everything over, whatever you got to transfer over, like the lines, see that line right here, you have to transfer it over. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When you have the new turbo on, before you start it, make sure you remove the coils. You remove every single one of them, and make sure you crank the engine first a couple times so you can build some type of oil go into the turbo before you actually start it. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'm out. Alright, so that's your new turbo right there. And the only thing you gotta transfer is this line. Is 1 bolt holding it in. Once you remove that, you can wiggle it out. And make sure you change the gaskets. Last thing you want is to put this thing in and you're leaking oil. And it's gonna be a bitch to change that while it's in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. The old one and the new one. Alright, I'm out. Alright, this is it, guys. Make sure you check for leaks. Make sure nothing is leaking. There's no oil dripping. Make sure you lift up the car and check under it. Make sure everything is good. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But yeah, I'm out.